The March 21st, 2020 regular meeting of the Cinnaminson Township Committee is now called to order. Everyone please rise and join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Notice of this meeting was published in the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 7th, 2022. Before we begin, I ask that everyone join me in a moment of silence to honor the victims of the ongoing events in Ukraine. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Secretary, please.
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Conda?
Here.
Mr. Horner?
Here.
Mr. Seega?
Here.
Deputy Mayor McGill?
Here.
Mayor Craywell?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to committee liaison reports. Committee Member Conda for Administration and Health and Senior Services.
I have nothing to report this evening, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Conda. Committee Member Horner, Finance and Economic Development.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The only item that I have to report this evening is that Lidl will be opening the 23rd, Wednesday, and Cinnaminson Township is excited to have that grand opening, and once again, we welcome them to the town. That's all I have this evening.
Great, thank you, Mr. Horner. Committee Member Segrist, Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to report that the Wayne Drive Bridge project is complete. The reconstruction project is complete and is now open for vehicular traffic. Public Works is currently working through Section 3 for brush collection. In April, Public Works will be collecting both curbside brush and leaves. Residents are reminded to separate their piles for that collection. They cannot be commingled. April bulk trash collection is scheduled for April 6th and 7th. Residents are encouraged to contact Republic Services at 856-234-4000 regarding any trash collection concerns. Burlington County will be holding its next shredding event on April 10th at the Burlington County Resource Recovery Complex, located at 22,000 Burlington Columbus Road in Florence. Residents should contact 609-499-1001, extension 271, for additional details. One last note, we are working on repairing the lights at Wood Park. This time last year, I believe there were about 15 lights out at Wood Park. We recently discovered there's about 8 lights out, which was preventing them from playing softball, and that's being worked out. The lights are ordered and should be back on within the next couple weeks. That concludes my report, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Segrist. Deputy Mayor McGill, Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The February activity report for the police department is as follows. Total incidents responded to was 2537. Total arrests made were 34. Total property checks 923. Total motor vehicle stops 586. Total motor vehicle summons issued 373. And total DWI arrests for 12. I also have one more thing we got. This is a little something we're a little proud of. Chief Calabrese was named Sergeant at Arms for the Chief of Police Association for Burlington County. So he got a little something from legislation. I'd like to just read it quick. The Senate and General Assembly, State House, Trenton, New Jersey, by joint legislative resolution by Assemblywoman Murphy, Senator Singleton, Assemblyman Conway, Senator Stanfield, and Assemblyman Teresi and Umba. Whereas the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey are pleased to honor and salute Richard Calabrese, the highly esteemed Chief of the Cinnaminson Township Police Department, upon his selection as Sergeant at Arms for the Burlington County Chiefs Police Association, and whereas, there's a lot of and whereases, whereas well-deserved appointment attests to Richard Calabrese's unwavering commitment to the Burlington County Chiefs Police Association and its essential mission to enhance communication between the public and their local police, support chiefs throughout Burlington County, and provide state-of-the-art in-service training to law enforcement community. And, another whereas, throughout his exemplary career with the Cinnaminson Township Police Department, Richard Calabrese has continually demonstrated his devotion to his fellow citizens through their steadfast dedication and securing their safety and welfare. And whereas, within all the spheres of his life and work, Richard Calabrese has established a model to emulate and has set a standard of excellence toward which others might strive. And last whereas, it is altogether proper and fitting for the New Jersey legislature, where they make all the laws.
Well
To-
done.
Sorry, to acknowledge Richard Calabrese and to praise him as an individual of remarkable character and exceptional determination. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature body hereby commends Richard Calabrese, pays tribute to his meritorious record of service, leadership, and commitment, and extends sincere best wishes for a successful and productive tenure as Sergeant-at-Arms of the Burlington County Police Chiefs Association. And be it further resolved that a duly signed copy of this resolution, signed by the State President of the Assembly and the Assembly Speaker, and attested by the Senate Secretary and the Assembly Clerk, be transmitted to Richard Calabrese. Congratulations, Chief.
Congratulations.
And finally, that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor McGill. I have a brief report for Parks and Recreation. In regards to our Park and Recreation programs, the field usage permits have been issued for the spring recognized sports programs, and within the next couple of weeks, the various sports and activities will start resuming their activities in our parks. Just want to make sure our residents are aware when they see the youth out at the parks. These organizations will be starting back up within the next week or two. That concludes my report. Okay, moving on, we do have an ordinance up for public hearing tonight. Ordinance 2022-1, to exceed the municipal appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Mr. Schuberger, can you please give us some detail on this ordinance?
Sure, Mayor. So this is an annual ordinance that is reviewed by the governing body, otherwise known as the COLA ordinance. It provides for a 3.5% increase to calendar year 2021 appropriations previous year. It's used as a safeguard to protect the township in the event of something unforeseen and is a good financial tool. We've used it for many years here as well as many municipalities throughout the state. This recommendation comes from our CFO and our purchasing agent, Julia Edmondson, and she recommends that the governing body once again adopt this ordinance for the betterment of the township. So, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schuberger. May I have a motion to open the public comment on ordinance 2022-1?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing for ordinance 2022-1.
Thank you, Mr. McGill. I'll second the motion. Voice vote. Ayes.
Aye.
Nays. Abstentions. Ayes have it. Public comment on ordinance 2022-1 is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no one come forward, may I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2022-1?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2022-1.
May I have a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second that.
Voice vote. Ayes.
Aye.
Nays. Abstentions. Ayes have it. May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-1?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-1.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Seagrist.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Craybill.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Schubiger, can you please give some detail regarding the resolutions on tonight's consent agenda?
Sure, Mayor. I'm just going to go in order on the agenda. Resolution 2022-59 is authorizing the award of a contract for Phase 2 and 3 of Union Landing Road reconstruction / improvements. Bids were received for this work and received by all of the township professionals. The road work spans from approximately Wiles Boulevard to near Hunter's Farm on Union Landing Road. The project will be completed using a combination of grant funding that was awarded to the township as well as a capital account that was previously approved by the governing body. And Ms. Edmondson has a lot of recommendations tonight. She recommends that the governing body, in fact, authorizes the award of contract to asphalt paving systems in the amount of $696,000, $696,693.25. Resolution 2022-60 is authorizing the award of a contract for on-call striping and traffic signage installation services. Bids were also received for this service to assist the Public Works Department in ongoing projects around and throughout the township. This is also the recommendation of our CFO that we authorize the award of the contract to Traffic Lines Incorporated and to Dan Swayze and Son Incorporated as an alternate contractor in an amount not to exceed $75,000. Resolution 2021-61 is authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for recycling units for the Public Works facility. Quotes were received for the units, led by our Public Works Superintendent, Kevin Gaunt, and they were also reviewed by all the appropriate township professionals. This is work that is part of our superintendents and his staff, their ongoing improvements that they've planned for the Public Works facility, in this case specifically for the recycling yard, to make it more efficient both for the employees and for the residents. Our CFO recommends the governing body also authorize the award of contract for this contract to Jake Containers, and that's in the amount of $23,850. Resolution 2022-62 is authorizing the acceptance of a performance guarantee regarding the Lidl project that Committee Member Horner just announced will be opening on Wednesday, bright and early, about 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Lidl U.S. Operations has been issued a certificate of occupancy that was subject to the completion of required preemptive equipment installation work. And thus, Lidl provided or issued a letter of credit for the purpose of a performance guarantee to the township in the amount of $65,000 based upon the engineer's cost estimate for that work. Our township attorney's office and Mr. Strauss are here, reviewed the letter, and they agree with the letter and recommend authorization by the governing body tonight for that project. And then lastly, there's a couple of raffle licenses, one for Cinnaminson High School project graduation on May 6th, and for St. Charles Carnival, June 13th to June 18th. I think I have those dates correct. Mayor, thank you. That concludes my comments on this.
Thank you, Mr.
consent.
Schubiger.
You're welcome.
All right, may I have a motion to open public comment on the consent agenda items only?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to open public comment on the consent agenda items only.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Voice vote, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention? Ayes have it. Public comment on the consent agenda is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Renee Oler Davis, 2108 Hunter Street. I'd just like to know what the improvements on Union Landing are.
Mayor, I can. oh,
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. So, Kevin, if I misspeak in any way, I'm sure you'll correct me right away. This is a complete reconstruction of that span of Union Landing Road, which is from about Wallace Road to near Hunter's Farm. As you might have seen, there's been some other reconstruction work on Union Landing Road over the last several years. It's going to include the reconstruction of the pavement, of course, some curbing, additional drainage inlets are also part of that package. And based upon tonight, hopefully it gets awarded, and then we'll be able to get the contractor out here, I would say, within the next couple of weeks. I'm thinking probably May, June, the work will be completed. He's nodding his head. Thank you, Kevin. But in this day and age, with supply chain issues and all the other issues that are going on, please don't quote me on that, but I believe that that's the plan, May, June, and it's probably 4 to 6 weeks, including all the ordering of the equipment and then the actual work. There'll be a signed detour there for residents and business owners in the area.
Does that include any sidewalk?
No, correct, Kevin?
Correct.
Yeah.
Are there any plans to continue the sidewalk? Since that's a, Union Landing is a heavily trafficked area by pedestrians also coming from the
So-
light rail.
So, without the engineer being here, I can tell you we've had discussions on doing just that. We also have some grant funding for, specifically for ADA compliant sidewalks, and we get that, I hate to say every year because then we're not gonna get it, but we're pretty successful in getting that funding. We are working on really a town-wide plan with our planner for walkability of our township. That is a bigger project that we're trying to accomplish, and certainly that's part of it. But the road is in a condition right now, we want to get that work done. Doesn't mean we can't add to it. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, there's right at the turn near Wallace Boulevard, and then getting to the Public Works facility, I think there's some widening going on at that particular part of the road project that the engineer identified that's an ongoing issue.
Correct.
So I didn't add that into my initial explanation, but there's gonna be a little bit of widening to make it, I guess, unison with the rest of the road in that span. It gets a little narrow there, so, but sidewalks, no, not at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's not something that we're working on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Davis.
Ben Young, 116 Woodview Lane. You haven't seen me for a while, but I'm around.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Piggyback on her comments and what Mr. Schubiger was saying, that road, I travel that road every day, and that road is highly walked. When we did improvements there before, we put sidewalks in all the way up to just below the Hunter Farmhouse. And those really do need to be extended because the traffic is, you can't imagine, that's probably the highest pedestrian road in town other than maybe Riverton Road. Those people coming from the train tracks up to Walmart and Sam's and up even to the diners where they work. That road really does need that bad. And does that go all the way down? Where's that gonna stop? Is that gonna connect right where we stopped before? Or is it gonna stop up at Hunter's Farm?
I think it goes to where the rest of the
Goes
work
down to
is
where
already
the
done.
bad spot is in the road? Good. That's the only other question I had is, when your traffic signage on the second resolution, does that include street signs or is that just traffic signage?
That one's traffic signage, I believe, right?
No
Kevin?
street
But-
signs.
But you were, as a matter of fact, we were reviewing budget introduction and things like that. That's something that our Public Works Superintendent has requested as part of his package, so he's working on
But
it.
the street signs?
Street sign.
Absolutely. We're
Yeah.
behind schedule. Way behind schedule.
And Mayor, if you don't mind, just a little latitude, just to add to, thank you, Mr. Young, to his comments, Mr. Young's comments. Many of the people up on the dais here know we're working with the county and the state on the Route 130 corridor strategic plan. What's come out of that plan draft is what everyone here is talking about, the walkability of this township, which I think most communities struggle with. And here, it's something that we're going to try to address with the plan, and so it's on the radar, for sure.
Let me add one more thing, if I might.
Oh, sure.
The ADA grants, they always were granted on basis of the residential status, and that doesn't include that area anymore. So
Yeah.
you can't count on that for up there, because for years, that was always the place we were able to use it, but it's not available
It's
anymore.
shifting, correct. So we're looking at all sources. I think the committee members up here and the professionals alongside me here will say, every single grant that comes through our way, we research and try to get the funding we can. So thank you for that. That particular program does shift. as far as what it can be utilized for. We'll continue to search for funding and also try to work it into our budgeting plan. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Schubager. Thank you, Mr. Young. May I have a motion to close public comment on the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to close public comment on the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion. Voice vote, ayes.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, ayes have it. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Segers. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Segrist.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Kramer.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 7th, 2022, and March 7th, 2022 closed?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Okay, I will second the motion to approve the minutes. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Segrist.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Kramer.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the bills. May I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bill list.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor McGill. May I have a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second that.
Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Segrist.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Kramer. Or, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor McGill, I apologize.
Sorry.
Mayor Kramer.
Aye. That's all right, I mess it up all the time, too. All right, staff and professional comments. Do we have any comments from our staff or professionals this evening?
I have one.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. So, committee member Horner, liaison to economic development, mentioned a bit earlier about the opening of Lidl, and I'm going to expand upon that a little bit. So, when I tell you the past several years, and this started before I even became a part of the team here, the amount of phone calls and meetings that it took to get Lidl here and to open, hundreds and hundreds. I'm not embellishing. And I know a lot of people here, up here with me know it. I just want to thank Mr. Mitten, our Economic Development Coordinator, Mr. Horner, and Mr. Conda in particular, who serve on that Economic Development team. Everybody on that team, the full committee support. It took a lot of people, a lot of hours of time to get this here. So I thought Mr. Horner's comments, at least tonight, believe it or not, were a bit understated, so I'm just tonight. So you should be proud, everyone here should be proud to get that store open. And I'm going out on a limb because the ribbon has not been cut, but I'm telling you that's going to be cut on Wednesday morning about 8 o'clock. Well, I won't say it. It will be done. So thanks to everybody. And Mr. Mitten, I see you in the back there. Thank you for all your leadership. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any additional comments? No? Okay, we'll roll into public comments. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to open public comment.
I'll second the motion. Voice vote, aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Okay, ayes have it. Public comment is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay. Seeing no one come forward, I will make a motion to close public comment. May I have a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second that.
Voice vote, ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Okay, ayes have it. Do we have any comments from committee members tonight?
Madam Mayor, I just want to, talk a second about the Lidl. Like
Please
everyone
do,
else
Mr.
has this
Conda,
evening.
please do.
I attended, on Friday, I was privileged to attend a Chamber of Commerce panel discussion as a panelist. And just to keep on the Lidl theme, for 2 hours, Lidl was front and center in that panel discussion, from the commissioners to the committee members to the questions from the audience. So it is a big thing, and I would just like to express my appreciation to the entire economic development team. Again, particularly Mr. Minton, and Committeeman Horner and Eric, who has spent a lot of time with it. So that's all I have, just to echo everybody else's comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would just like to continually do it every meeting, but thank our staff, our professionals, Police Department, Fire Department, Public Works, for continually to do their duty and have this township run at a such a high rate. I also would be remiss to thank Mr. Young and prior committees who actually started the ball with the Lidl, and our Economic Development Committee. They were the closers and finished it and brought it home. And thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Believe it or not, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor McGill. I'd also like to just say a brief thank you for our team efforts across the board, past Township Committee, past Economic Development. We would not be approaching Wednesday and opening of this Lidl without all parties involved. So thank you for everyone who took part, big or small. It's a great improvement for this township. All right, so we do have a closed session on our agenda this evening. Mr. Strausser, do we anticipate taking any additional action this evening?
We do not, but we do reserve the right to take action.
Okay, how long do you think that we may be enclosed, in case anybody wanted to stay?
About 30 minutes.
Okay, may I have a motion to go into closed session?
Madam Mayor, I can make a motion to go into closed session, please.
I'll second that motion. Voice vote, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Ayes have it.
Want to close?
So we're
Okay.
going to be going into closed.